In this video, I'm gonna give you a guide on how to DJ for complete beginners. But if you already know how to DJ and just want to see what this video is all about, then please feel free to go to any of these timestamps. Who knows, you might learn something new. You can try to think of it as a delicious sandwich. If there's too much breading, if there's too much spam, if there's too much cheese, sandwich. Now, if you're a complete beginner who doesn't know anything about DJing, I'll start this tutorial with a brief overview of what DJing is, then another overview on DJ equipment in general, followed by two of the easiest and least controversial methods of mixing and DJing to appease the boomers out there. So, without further ado, let's get started. The overall objective of DJing is to play and mix music to appease a crowd. So when you see a DJ, one is technically mixing two songs together, and the tools that enable that to happen most of the time are two DJ decks and a mixer. But these club standard DJ tools you see in front of you cost over $5,000. Seriously, really? So expensive. And to be completely honest with you, if you're a starting out beginner DJ, please don't buy any of this. You'll be much better off buying any of these DJ controllers that cost around $250 and below. Because all DJ equipment, and I mean all of them, basically and essentially do the same thing. Play and mix music. The reason why these guys cost so low is because they utilize DJ software, which requires a computer. And that DJ software basically does everything. And these things here just give you a tactile and physical way to control your software. That's why they're called DJ controllers. Now, there are many DJ controllers and DJ softwares out there, but they all look and do the same thing. So what I'm about to discuss with you can pretty much apply to any DJ equipment you may have. So enough talking. Let's first break down the equipment, then teach you guys how to DJ and mix with it. So the first thing you want to do is plug in your DJ controller and open up your DJ software. These white and red outputs on the back of your controller send the master volume of your mix to your speakers. And this little input over here is for your headphones, which will be the audio you hear when you're prepping and mixing songs. Now you may be wondering, what's the point of connecting your headphones to your controller when your speakers already output the sound to you and your audience? Well, it's because your headphones, when plugged here, give you the ability to pre-hear what you're doing when you're prepping your song to mix for the crowd. Because not all songs are the same. Some are faster, some are slower, some are in different keys, and some have different structures. But the point of mixing is to transition one song to the other despite their differences. The bigger their differences, the harder they are to mix. But as DJs, it's our job to find a way to proficiently and smoothly transition and blend two tracks together to make a cohesive, clean mix. So since you're a starting out beginner DJ, let's first learn how to transition between songs that are around the same speed and tempo, or what we professionally refer to as BPM or beats per minute. So we're gonna mix a couple of songs that are between 124 to 127 BPM. Before we move on to doing your first transition, if you want to follow along with this video, good news! All the songs used in this tutorial are free to download, so check the links down below. First thing to do is load your songs to your respective decks. On the left side is deck 1 and on the right side is deck 2. So let's use this browser knob over here to browse through our songs. So once you find your first song, click the load button on the left. And that'll bring your selected song to deck 1. And once you find your preferred second song, click the load button on the right. And that'll bring your selected song to deck number 2. So once you load your songs, your software will automatically determine their BPM and create a beat grid. You can think of your beat grid as a visual guide and series of markers that point to the location of beats within the track. And speaking of tracks, most DJ-friendly tracks have an intro and outro section. These will be the sections where we'll primarily do our mixing. Now with our tracks analyzed and loaded onto their decks, let's discuss the deck functions. Both decks basically do the same thing to their respective song, that's why they look alike. But their four most important functions are the following. First, the play/pause function. This green button here toggles between playing and pausing your track. Second, the cue function. The orange button over here cues your song. So if you press play too soon or too late, you can quickly go back to the start of the song and stop the deck. Third, the tempo function. This long fader here controls the BPM of your song. When it's in the middle, it's in its neutral state at 0. Fourth, the jog wheels. They temporarily speed up or slow down your song when you push or pull them from their side. Now these third and fourth functions basically are the tools you will use to beat match songs that aren't in the same BPM with each other. So with our two songs loaded up and you knowing the very basic functions of the deck section, let me discuss with you now the mixer section. This area is in charge of being the section where we blend and mix songs. And the four most important functions of the mixer section are the following. First, the volume fader area. This section here is in charge of the volume of each respective deck. Second, the crossfader section. Now this section has many functions, but at its default, it basically controls both volumes of each deck simultaneously. So if the crossfader is on the left side, deck 1 will be at its loudest, and vice versa. And if the crossfader is on the right side, deck 2 will be at its loudest, and vice versa. And using the crossfader is by far the simplest and easiest way to mix between two songs, and we'll primarily use this in our first transition lesson. But before we get to it, let me discuss with you the third and fourth function. Third, the EQ section. These knobs, high, mid, and low, give you further control of the frequencies of the song. And to keep things really simple, you can just think of these knobs as three parts that comprise your volume. So the low knob controls the bass of the song. The mid knob controls a cappella/loud instrumental-like sections of the song. And the high knob controls the hi-hat sections of a song. So since you're starting out, these knobs should be mostly kept at the 12 o'clock position when mixing and blending. Later on in this video, we'll start implementing the low knob into our mixing, so stay tuned for that. Fourth, the headphone cue section. These buttons are in charge of letting you pre-hear what's going on each deck, regardless of how high or low the volume fader is. So now that we understand the basic functions of the deck and mixer section, let's do our first transition. So the game plan of your first transition is to simply mix the next song at the outro section of the current song. So you want to mix the next song exactly at this point here. And playing the next song at that exact point is the most important step of this whole process. So let's finally begin our first transition lesson. Step 0. Make sure your cross faders to the left side on deck 1. Your volume faders are all the way up. Your tempo faders are in the middle. And your EQ sections are all set to the 12 o'clock position. Step number 1. Load your first song. Play it and wait for its outro section. So this will be the part where you let your audience enjoy and dance to the song. And this will be the part where you look at the first song's BPM and verify it. So it's set to 124. Let's keep that in mind. Step number 2. As the first song plays, load your second song to deck number 2. And simply adjust the tempo fader to have the same BPM as the first song. So the second song's innate BPM is 125, so let's drag it up to decrease it so that it'll match the current song's BPM. And with that out of the way, just wait for the second song's outro section. Step number 3, the most important part. Now, at the exact moment you reach the outro section, which should be here, play your second song and make sure the beat rates are aligned with each other. So you want them to look like this. Now your timing of playing the next song may be off, so be ready to use your jog wheels to bring the beat rates aligned and together with each other. Step number 4. As both songs play, smoothly drag the crossfader from all the way from the left side to the right side to completely transition to the next song. And congratulations! You've just made your first transition. So let's keep this up and transition to the next song. Step number 5. As the second song plays, load your next song to deck number 1. Match its BPM with the currently playing song. And wait for the current song's outro section, which should be here. Step number 6, the most important step. Once you reach your outro section, which is the transition point, play your next song and make sure to align the beat rates together. So use your jog wheels to do so, and you can verify if things sound good using your headphone cue functions. Step number 7. Drag the crossfader from all the way from the right side to the left side to complete your transition. If you want to continue mixing, simply repeat this process starting from step number 2. So if you're feeling pretty confident as a DJ, it'll be time to start growing your career, making mixes and especially DJing live. And if you want to jumpstart your DJ career, you should check out Young Guru's online course on how to DJ from setup to sound check. There he teaches you a bunch of things like how to set up your equipment, how to make sure everything sounds right, and just how to have an overall better and smoother time DJing live. So if you want to check out that DJing live masterclass, which I highly recommend because I've taken it myself, then you can click the link in the video description down below and that'll give you a 2-month free trial on Skillshare. And Skillshare is an online learning community that offers membership with meaning. With over 20,000 classes in graphic design, DJing, music production, songwriting, and more, which are all fueled by passionate creatives like myself, you're pretty much set for life if you want to learn anything efficiently, effectively, and economically, because an annual subscription on Skillshare costs less than $10 a month. So what are you waiting for? Start 2020 right and move your creative journey forward now with Skillshare today. So once you master using the crossfader, let's move on to just mixing with the volume fader and EQ section, which most professional DJs prefer for more control. The main idea behind using the volumes and EQs to mix is to make sonic room for the next song. Step 0. Make sure deck 1's volume faders all the way up, the cross faders in the middle section, deck 2's volume faders all the way down, your tempo fader is in the middle, and your EQ sections are all set to the 12 o'clock position. Step number 1. Load your first song to deck 1, play it, and wait for the outro section. Step number 2. As the first song plays, load your second song to deck number 2, and adjust its BPM via its tempo fader to be the same BPM as the first song. Once you're done with that, just wait till the first song reaches its outro section. Step 3. The most important part. At the exact moment you reach the outro section, play your second song and make sure the beat grids are aligned with each other. If they aren't, simply use the jog wheels to correct and align the beat grids together, and you can verify this with the headphone cue button over here. Step number 4. Once you know both songs are aligned and are beat matched perfectly, bring the volume fader of deck number 2 up. And as you do, slowly reduce the low knob of deck number 1 to make room for the volume of deck number 2. And when you reach this point on deck 2's volume, start bringing the volume fader of deck 1 all the way down to complete the transition. Now, if you're having a hard time mixing your songs together, it could be because of your beat grids. So here's a quick way to adjust them on Rekordbox DJ. Click this section here and use either these two buttons to align the beat grids with the beat. You want that beat grid to be exactly where the beat starts. And here's the way to adjust them on Serato DJ. Click Edit Grid, then click Clear, and position your song to the exact section where the beat starts, and click Set and Save. To get smooth crossfader settings and isolated EQ controls on Rekordbox DJ, click this icon here, then click Controller, then click Mixer, then bring the crossfader curve knob to the 12 o'clock position, and then click Isolate on the EQ/isolator setting. To get smooth crossfader settings on Serato, click this icon here, then click Mixer, then click the knob near the crossfader area and bring it to the 12 o'clock position. And you've made it to the end of the video. And if you want to still continue on your studies on how to be a better DJ every day today, check out these other things I have around me here. They'll all really help you out. And with that said, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.